Good morning, beloveds. I saw a meme out there that I think is extremely important, and it basically said it's hot out there, so please make sure you stay inside and drink plenty of water between 11 a.m. and November 2nd. I think it's on target. It's hot out there, so please hydrate. All right, we have an interesting title today. It is Forgive and Ye Shall Be Forgiven. Did I say it's June 16th? I should say it's June 16th. It's June 16th, and our title is Forgive and Ye Shall Be Forgiven. Our author is Nora Smith Holm, and it is from the Runner's Bible from 1913. And there are a couple of quotes in here, so it's going to start with, they're both quotes from Luke. Take heed to yourselves, if thy siblings sin, rebuke them, and if they repent, forgive them. And if they sin against you 7 times in the day, and 7 times against thee, turns again to thee, saying, I repent, thou shalt forgive them. And that is Luke 17, 3 and 4. And then, all evil must be forgotten, whether it be in you or in your sibling, to behold perpetually in remembrance your siblings' faults and sins is to create an imperfect, distorted pattern from which you will be fashioned. The other quote is, Release and ye shall be released, and that is Luke 6:37. Thoughts of evil weigh us down and make our only burdens. People change so rapidly in body and mind as to be totally incapable of doing today the wrong which they did yesterday. They are a different person and should not be judged by their past. I don't know what to think about that. Because we talk about forgiveness work on a regular basis, because it comes up a lot, and forgiving is not necessarily forgetting, for starters. Forgiving, I saw another one where it says healing doesn't mean the damage never happened. It just means the damage it no longer controls you. And then I saw another one where it says forgiveness means that you can remember the past without anger. Okay. And that right there, because there's a quote from Buddha that says, anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. And so that's what forgiveness is about. Forgiveness doesn't have to have anything to do with the other person. Now, her first quote did say that, but so we'll come back to that. So, no, let's talk about it now. Because in that one they're saying, okay, so if your sibling sins against you, your fellow person on this planet, it doesn't have to actually literally be a sibling, but if your fellow person, if a fellow human being continually sins against you, then and Luke says, forgive them every time. All right. Now here's what I'm going to say. Yeah, forgive them every time, but stop putting yourself in the path where they can sin against you. Okay. So, and that's really that thing, is because I think forgive and forget is, we were sold a bill of sales, right? Oh, forgive, forget, let them back into your life. No. Yes, forgive. Let that bad word that I'm not going to say go. Let that go. But do not put yourself back in a situation where they can do it again. Okay? We have a responsibility to take care of ourselves. You know how I'm all about self-care? Well, forgiveness is absolutely self-care. But the other part of forgiveness is, don't put yourself back in the situation where they can do it again. Take that responsibility. Stay the heck out of their way. And if you can't stay the heck out of their way, because, it's not always possible, just make sure that you don't put yourself in a position where they can do it to you again. Now, her other quote is, forgive and you shall be released and you shall be released. that's the other part of forgiveness work. It's like, okay, you have done this to me, and I am going to let it go. And the best apology is changed behavior. She says people's bodies and minds change so fast that they are not necessarily capable. She said they're not capable of the wrong that they committed yesterday. Yeah, I've been burned a few times. So I'm all about the forgiveness, but I am also not going to put myself in your reach again if you are going to continue this behavior. Now, if you, again, give me the absolutely best apology, which is you stop doing the behavior, then maybe we can have a discussion. But here's the thing. Because we do it, if you are continually doing something and you then change your behavior and you want a person to let you back into their life, you don't get to be upset if they say no. Okay? Because you have wronged them enough that they have decided that, and you can go to them and say, I've changed all you want. But until they are ready to let you back in, they don't have to. And you don't get to be angry about it. Again, this is that forgiveness work. I want to make sure, because none of us are without flaw. I was about to say none of us are perfect, but I have a different definition of perfect. We're all whole, but we're all messy human beings. We are spiritual beings having a messy material life. And so when we make mistakes, we own up to them, we make amends. And we also need to be willing to accept if we've made a mistake often enough with another person and they choose not to let us back into their life, we got to be okay with that. We got to get our stuff together and move on. And because forgiveness work works both ways. If you have been seriously damaged by another person, you do not ever have to let that person back in your life. All right. But you do want to consider the possibility of forgiving them. You do not have to go to them and say, I forgive you. You don't ever have to do that. But you want to let go of the anger within yourself. Because anger is corrosive. It is absolutely corrosive. That's why you want to make the best use of that anger as soon as possible and let that stuff go. And that's what forgiveness work is about. Anger can be one of the most powerful powerhouses for change. Absolutely. But if you hold it within yourself, it can be absolutely corrosive and destroy you from the inside out. That is what forgiveness work teaches us. Use that anger, make the changes, and let it go. And be willing to forgive people in your life and be willing to accept that apology when it is given. Now, if somebody comes to you and apologizes and you can say, okay, I accept your apology, you are also welcome to say, you're not welcome back in my life. Okay? I don't ever want people to think just because somebody has apologized that you have to let them back in your life. Accepting the apology is the right thing to do, but you do not have to let them back in your life. And I'm going to be absolutely clear about that. All right. And this is coming from me because, women, we're expected to do that kind of stuff. Oh, yeah. You've changed. Let me let you back. No. Okay. The best apology is changed behavior. When you see that, then you can make a different decision. And that's just it. You can change your mind later. Okay? Forgiveness work, it's a process. It is a process. And I'm not going to pretend it's otherwise. But I'm going to remind you that it is about you and it is for you. And it doesn't have to have anything to do with that other person ever. It is about making sure that the pain no longer controls you and that you have healed. Okay? All right. It was a very short one. But I'm very emphatic about forgiveness work. And please, if you're going to do forgiveness work, then, if you want to work with a licensed professional, work with a licensed professional. I'm a big believer in licensed professionals in this kind of stuff. Practitioners and ministers and therapists and all of that. Whatever it is that you need to let that stuff go. Okay, I'm just going to glance back in here and make sure. Just because I just wanted to glance back in because she says to hold perpetually in remembrance of people's faults and sins is to create an imperfect, distorted pattern from which you will be fashioned. That's why we want to let this go. What we are holding on to is often what we become. That is the reason for doing the forgiveness work. So, the mission today, should we choose to accept it, is to let go of other people's stuff. Let go of other people's stuff. Forgive. I'm not asking you to forget. I'm not asking you to let them back into your life. I'm just asking you to let that stuff go. All right? And use any and all of the tools that you need to do it. Okay, forgiveness work. Because really, honestly, when you forgive, the person who is released is you. That's why I'll talk about it every time it comes up in these books. Okay. The other mission, because I reminded you, self-care. Forgiveness is self-care work. Absolutely self-care work. The other mission is the spiritual practice of doing something loving for yourself, doing something kind for yourself, doing something compassionate for yourself. Whatever that looks like. Forgiveness work is big part of self-care. So that is one of the suggestions. I'm also, as you know, I encourage you to take a deep breath before you speak, especially to yourself, because then you have less to forgive if you give yourself that moment to think about what's about to come out of your mouth. Take a nap, take a walk, take a break, take a vacation, go eat something. If I get a little, then my partner will look at me and go, okay, do you need to eat something? Or is there something really going on here? And that will make me stop and think, oh, okay, is my blood sugar a little low? So that's that self-care, okay? I also want to remind you, when I'm talking about self-care, when I'm talking about this love, kindness, and compassion, that a quality of God is joy, and I want you to make room for joy. It does not matter what is going on in the world, you deserve joy. Doesn't matter what's going on in your life, you deserve joy. So make room for that. And sometimes that looks like eating dessert first. Sometimes that looks like wearing the nice clothes, or wearing the comfortable clothes, or using the good china and the nice silverware and the fancy glasses. Sometimes it looks like eating the good stuff, all right? Make room for joy. Your life is a special occasion. I ask you to practice love, kindness, and compassion on yourself for a variety of reasons. One, I want you to create a habit. I want you to create a first response. I want you to create a well-worn path to the source of your own being, which is the source of infinite love, infinite kindness, infinite compassion. Yes, first response. I also want to remind you, you deserve your own love. You deserve your own kindness. You deserve your own compassion. Absolutely. You deserve your own forgiveness. As Maya Angelou says, when we know better, we do better. And sometimes we just have to forgive ourselves for the mistakes we made in the past and do better. Okay? Practice on yourself. All right. I also encourage you, as I always do something to engage your mind and your body. It is hot out there, so take care when you do it. We're trying to get out there as early as possible to do that. I opted for a bike ride instead of a walk today because it's like walking into an oven. Walking out my front door right now. So, hydrate. Drink plenty of water. It's extra important. And, consider some minerals, some trace minerals in that water to hydrate yourself. Your brain works better when it is hydrated, so please hydrate. And I do encourage you, I'm going to encourage you to go get that early in your day bright light. I mean, if the sun's coming up at 6:30 and you can get up, great. Go get that early in your day bright light. It will improve your energy. You'll have, it's a hormone balance. You'll have more energy during the day. You'll sleep better at night. So, I'm talking 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. It's called a circadian rhythm. It is science. You can look it up. I am not blowing smoke. Okay. And then, as always, my Ernest Holmes quote: open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you that you do live in heaven right here, right now. It's all around us all the time. Okay. Because we all come from the same source. Everything that you see was made out of the one source, which is God. All right? Which means that heaven is a state of mind. It is a state of consciousness. Once we learn to create it for ourselves, heaven ceases to be a place that we have to get to and can become any place we are. We want to create a world that works for everybody. That's how we start, by creating that heavenly mindset for ourselves. And then holding the light up so other people can learn to do it for themselves. It straight up is a superpower. I'm not even kidding. It comes from what we call it the Christ consciousness. Because the best example of it was Jesus. Christ consciousness. And he said we can do it. He said the kingdom of God is within you. That means state of mind, state of consciousness. You will move through the world differently. We want to create a world that works for everybody. That's how we do it. All right. Moving forward, I'm going to remind you, social media. We are Creative Life Spiritual Center, Creative Life Spark. I'm the running Ryan on the social medias that I am on. We have all kinds of content. The YouTube channels get the most work right now. Facebook and Instagram have made sharing across platforms a little more difficult. So what I need to do is have a little more patience and, actually cut and paste, which is not as hard as it sounds. It just takes a little more time. So, but email info@creativelife.org. That will get you on the constant contact if you want to know what's going on with the center. And he has Click Here Now that can take you right to the YouTube channel, right to anything. The playlists are fantastic. My favorite book is this thing called You. Well, that is now available on our website or on our YouTube channel. You can listen to it. You're just listening to me read it, but it's available, so you can listen to it. And the chapters range from 8 minutes to I think 25 at the most. So, and there's 16 of them. So you got a few hours there, but if you need something to listen to. All right. Whew. I guess I'm at the part where I get to encourage you to have a great day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanted day, a wonder-filled day, an awesome day, a stay cool day, a drink plenty of water day, think about some ice day, a wear sunscreen day, a Friday, a good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day. You are enough just as you are. You're a beloved child of God. You are a divine spark, a brilliant light. You are God in motion. You are spirit in action. You are, as Reverend Jesse likes to call us, a godling. So take care of yourself. Know that you are loved. And I don't know what I was about to say. Okay, so let me just remind you, Reverend David will be on around 5 p.m. with you. I'll be back with you around 9 a.m. I'll probably be a sweaty mess because I'm going to go to the park tomorrow. Yay. Going to try and do it a little extra early, though, because it's hot. Take care of yourself. Know that you are loved, and I will see you next time.